So this is pretty brief, but I always like reading some of Winston Churchill's statements. So I just had a few of his. I'll put together. Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. If you're going through hell, keep going. Tact is the ability to tell someone to go to hell in such a way that they look forward to the trip. And the last one, which I thought was quite appropriate for us, is a politician needs the ability to foretell what is going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year, and to have the ability afterwards to explain why it didn't happen.
Well done. For that public forum, there's none that I know of. Apologies. I have an apology from Councillor Patterson. Have somebody move the apologies? Councillor Small. Second, Councillor Stevens. Put the motion. All in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Visitors. There's no visitors that I am aware of. Conflicts of interest. Members are reminded that if they have a conflict of interest in relation to anything on the agenda, they must declare the interest and refrain from discussing or voting on the item advised to withdraw from the meeting table. Does anybody have any conflicts in relation to any agenda item today?
I believe I do.
Okay, thank you, Paul. That's in relation to the application from the Southern AMP Association. Good, thank you very much. Identification of major or minor items, there's none that I'm aware of. Moving on to the minutes. Confirmation of the minutes held on the 18th of November 2025. Taken as read. Is there any alterations, corrections for discussion?
Just one. We had Mr. McElwraith talk to us about the swimming pool. Have we followed up on that? Have we done anything?
Yes, I Steve from Parks and Reserves and myself met with Ian a couple of days ago and that sort of thing, and explained to him about the costs associated with the additional hours that he was seeking, and Steve said that he was going to look at like double laning off because what Ian was saying was the kids were jumping around and balls were coming over and that sort of stuff. So I know Steve was looking at maybe double laning, sort of putting in a small lane to separate the lap swimmers off.
Yeah, come up
so hopefully we can come up with a suitable solution for them.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, I have somebody move the minutes. Move Councillor Guildford, second Councillor Stevens. Put the motion. All in favour say aye. Aye. Against carried. Minutes of the Waimate District Civic Awards Committee meeting held on the 27th of November. Again, I'll take them as read. Any alterations or corrections, just to remind everybody, please take some forms with you and hand them around the community. If you know of anybody that is a good recipient, obviously we can't nominate them, but I'm sure you can tap someone on the shoulder. So that's coming up in March next year, but we need to get the applications in as soon as possible. So I'm happy to move the minutes received. Second Councillor Begg. Put the motion. All in favour say aye. Against carried. That, moving on to the minutes on page 20 of the Waimate District Council Community and Sports Grant Committee meeting held on the 19th of November. Take them as read. Any alterations, corrections or discussion? If there's not, have somebody move the minutes. Move Councillor Small, seconded Councillor Guildford. Put the motion. All in favour say aye. It's carried. Moving on to the minutes of the ANZAC group meeting. Again, I'll take them as read. We had the meeting the other day, so it's just good that we're getting organised. And the guest speaker for next year's ANZAC service is a young lady of Japanese descent, I think she is, but she lives in New Zealand, who's going to talk about Operation Grapple, which is the nuclear testing in the Pacific that the New Zealanders went to. I had a presentation from her back at a Trafalgar Day service a couple of years ago, and she was outstanding. So I asked her if she'd be keen to come down, and she's accepted. So it's actually really interesting in that. So I'm happy to move the minutes. Seconded Councillor Begg. Put the motion. All in favour say aye. Against carried. Moving on to the Mayor's report on page 31. I'll take it as read. A couple of things to highlight was just great to be down at Glenavy School with Lisa and Paul when we opened the refurbished new classrooms down there that came from Waitaki Girls, they say, and that. So it was really good. Great to see such a diverse bunch of kids that go down this. It's like the United Nations down there.
It's great.
And that, it's incredible.
And a lot of them.
And a lot of them, very strong.
How many kids are there?
130 something.
Yeah, there's a lot. And that, it's a big school.
Amazing stuff down there, actually.
And that, but yeah, no, it was a really nice afternoon. Once I finally got through all the traffic. And that, the only other thing I just wanted to mention too was just, congratulations to Arlen for completing his 2-year program. And that, it's great to see that we've got another young man who's looking at taking on helping and getting out in his community and using his skills as that we've given to him as part of that course. So it was really good. Other than that, happy to answer any questions if anybody's got any. Rick.
The meeting with the police inspector, was that discussing the restructure or something else?
No, it was just basically a general catch up with Inspector Walker prior, it was a couple of weeks ago now. That it was just a general catch up. We raised again around the staffing in our district that they need to get on and make sure they're advertising and trying to attract staff here. And that, of course, the usual story is that it's difficult. We advertise, people don't want to come. And
But have they actually advertised?
I've got no idea, Lisa.
It's been a very long-standing problem.
No.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, they haven't been advertising at all. Not good enough.
So we're just going to keep pressure on and see how that plays out over the next few months. If there's nothing else, I'm happy to move for a report. Seconded. Councillor Stevens, put the motion, all in favour, say aye. It's carried. Thank you for that. Moving on to the councillors' reports. So there's an opportunity if you've been to anything you'd like to highlight.
Can I ask a question of John, or I think Jackie might have been there, the meeting with Te Manaora Community and Public Health?
That was me, and I just had a cup of coffee with her because Craig has asked me to kind of connect with her on a regular basis, and it's just a touch base to see what she's doing here, and yeah.
And what sort of work are they doing? Or
See,
I'll put you on the spot, sorry.
That's right.
All sorts. Yeah, I met her at that Operation Zebra thing when we're with the kids doing the zebra crossing.
Oh, yes.
And she said that she comes down quite regularly, like once a month, and she just wanted to catch up with someone within council that just to keep them updated on what they're up to. And
So is she working through schools, or is she working through like?
she works through public health, but she supports the schools.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Schools. Oh, and she was saying that you know, it's just one of her concerns is that there's one part-time dental therapist for all South Canterbury, for the tourist team. First, when we used to go to school, remember how we used to have a dental nurse there, and we used to get dragged in. They've got one person part-time for all South Canterbury, which is it's not great.
Busy.
And she's just, just been on, just talking about the whooping cough and measles.
But just general childhood health issues and things like
Childhood
that.
health issues, yeah.
But thank you.
So the next time she comes down, John can give you help.
Oh yeah, no, that's good. I was just
Catch up with
interested into what that was about, and what they meant for Waimate.
So that was, it was just, as I said, it was just sort of a chance meeting at that zebra crossing exercise day
Right.
and that sort of thing. And I thought they were going to be quite keen on catching up with us. So
Yep, very good. Thank you.
anything else? If it's not, can I have somebody move that the councillor's report's accepted? Move Councillor Small. Seconded Councillor Harrison. Put the motion, all in favour, say aye. It's carried. Thank you for that. Moving on to the Chief Executive's report on page 39. Stuart.
Thank you, Mayor Ali. I'll take the report as read. I don't have any exceptions to any of the meetings to report to you.
Any questions?
If it's not, I'm happy to move the report. Seconder. Councillor Guildford, put the motion, all in favour say aye. Against, carried. Thank you for that. Moving on to the council actions report. Just the 3 items. Just to let you know that a letter has been sent to FENS in relation to that fire appliance, around looking at options to have that money reimbursed into that reserve.
That'll be like over time, it won't, that was the issue, wasn't it?
The issue is they haven't got any money.
Yeah.
So I think we've given them some options, a range of options to.
Just through you, Mr Mayor, the letter hasn't goes out this
Oh,
afternoon, but it presents 3 payment options for them to consider in the hope that it fits with their budget rounds.
Any other questions in relation to the outstanding actions report? If there's not, have a mover. Leave Councillor Stevens, second Councillor Begg, put the motion, all in favour say aye. Against, carried. Moving on to the Audit and Risk Committee report on page 43. As you'll be aware, we've saw this at the Audit and Risk Committee the other day. I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody's got any. If there's not, I'm happy to move the recommendation of the Audit and Risk Chair's report is accepted. Seconder Councillor Guildford, put the motion, all in favour say aye. Against, carried. Moving on to general reports, this is the financial report for the 4 months ending the 31st of October. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Again, I think most of us have seen this previously at the Audit and Risk Committee meeting, but I'm sure Jackie's happy to answer any questions if there is any.
Yeah, the financial report for the 4 months ended 31st October 2025 is presented for your information. Council has recorded a surplus of 2.9 million compared to a budgeted surplus of 1.36. Therefore, Council is tracking in favorable to budget 1.54. The major variance to budget has been noted in the report. And are there any questions for the managers?
You, Councillor Guildford.
More just a general comment that looking at the shift, particularly around that fees and charges space and development contribution, are we seeing this as a sign that the economy may be starting to settle and recover, that there's going to be a bit more investment happening, or is that more related to the dairy industry payout being positive?
I think through you, Mr Mayor, it's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not an economist, but what has been reported is the last 12 months interest rates have been reasonably low. But I think from a government perspective, they haven't seen the level of investment that they wanted to see while those interest rates were low. And you've already seen one bank now is starting to lift the interest rates. Yeah, that's right. So I think it's an indication that hopefully the economy is showing some what the economists call green shoots. But we have seen some steady from a council perspective through requests for LIMS for housing and consent requests, quite steady, if not, I think, Dylan, they are
they're on the rise.
improving.
It's really on the rise at the moment. And that's
Yep.
typical this time of year before Christmas. Everybody wants things done.
Yeah.
So you probably find it'll quieten down again in the new year.
Yeah. So I think the answer to your question is yes, there's probably some more enthusiasm in the economy at the moment.
Yeah, I just saw reading this, it looked like there was a wee trend shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, hopefully there's a shift to better times because
We need it.
yeah, we do need it. And it's I do wonder, probably Dan run answer is some of this timing and these with dates, people coming in. I just look at the this stormwater drainage above budget.
Oh, yeah.
And, okay, any other questions for Jackie at all? If If there's not, we have a recommendation on private. Last page.
53?
On page 53, that the finance report for 4 months ended 31st October is accepted. Move it. Councillor Guilford, seconded Councillor Stevens. Put the motion, all in favour say aye.
Right.
Against, carried. Moving on to item 16.2 on page 54, which is the budget carry forward. So carry forwards, again, I'll hand over to Jackie.
The budget is for the approval of the carry forwards into the 25-26 to enable the budget to be updated. The carry forwards were also presented during the Audit and Risk Committee on the 9th of December 2025, and the committee recommended council approval. And do you have any questions for the managers?
Mr. Mayor, is this something we'll be able to like look at before we get into the LTP, say what of these things are still viable, or look at it and pull money out, put money somewhere else if it's not something that we deem to continue?
My understanding, probably Stuart answer this, through the budgeting process or?
Yes, that's right. So the majority of carry forwards, as you know, are all water infrastructure related. The rest of it tracks pretty well. At the moment, we're looking at a couple of things that may influence that discussion. One is that we do have to have a look at capital contributions, which is probably moving longer term to a levy. And we've got a mountain of work to do around that across the district. And the other one is we're having a look at, well, effectively every project will be brought back to that budgeting process for review. We'll be bringing a slightly different approach as we move into the budgeting process around the LTP. We're going to have we'll have a strategy around the budgeting, but we'll have a compendium off the side to potentially go to the public and the ratepayers and ask them, firstly, do they want it, don't they want it, and what level of service if they do. And this is an effort to try and sort of manage rates.
Is that sort of partially because of the rates kept coming in too? Is that why you're looking at it, or?
We actually planned to do this well before rates capping was mentioned. We have done a little bit of preliminary work looking at the rates on the council side with Three Waters removed, and indications are that we can comfortably work, if it comes in that band between 2 and 4%. We can probably manage that as a requirement.
So this is just an attempt to gauge the public's priorities.
Yep.
Then I think it's the other thing too, Paul, is I think it's to give the ratepayers a better understanding of all these projects that are sitting out to the side and where their rates are going and that sort of thing. And realistically, if you want to see lower rates, there's only two ways of doing it: is cutting services or reducing costs. So this is an opportunity for people to have a look and go, yep, okay, well, do we really need that? Do we need this? And feed that back into us, and then we can make decisions accordingly.
I think it's a really sensible approach. Like, it'll be more transparent. It's something people have been looking for. It's not that it hasn't been transparent, but maybe presented in a different way that might be more relatable for them. I think it is really essential that they understand the implications, that we can't just blanket cost cuts, cut costs without it having an effect on what we actually deliver. And then the community has to decide whether or not they want, how important those things are to them. And if they're still important to them, be prepared to invest in them.
I think the biggest thing for me too, Jackie, is that the information's always been there.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's not the transparency thing, it's just probably going to be a little bit easier to find and digest.
Yeah, no, I think it sounds awesome. I'm happy to move that that we accept these budget carry forwards. We went into them in depth at Audit and Risks. So.
Okay, cool. Okay, so it's been moved by Councillor Guilford, seconded. Seconded by Councillor Begg. Put the motion, all in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks.
Hopefully we're not too scary. Moving on to page 58, 16.3, the Canterbury Local Authorities Triennial Agreements. And that, this obviously is something that we are required to sign as part of our 3-year cycle. It's a statutory requirement. It's all fairly self-explanatory. I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any. Councillor Guildford.
Just that $63,000 cost, is that our levy?
Shared, no, that's
No, so that's shared
total
across
cost.
the whole district? Oh, that's not bad.
That's right.
I was
Yeah.
thinking that.
Actually, I think if you read the report, it's $63,000 over 3 years, and that's our share,
Oh,
That's-
right, okay.
Okay, so that's our share across 3 years.
3 years, because it's a triennial agreement, so it's 3 years agreement with a cost of 63,000.
Right.
But I think that investment really pays dividends, like being able, especially in
based-
this current climate that we're
Yeah, the other
in,
thing too is based on,
very essential.
and it's based on population base, so ours is only a very small percentage of the likes of Christchurch and all the bigger councils.
I just had a question, Waitaki's part of that.
Yes.
How much input do they have quite a bit of input too? Or is,
Yes, but it's because that
Because of the
ECAN boundary on the side of the river, and that, so the mayor and CE from Waitaki come to every mayoral forum,
okay.
and that sort of thing. That's all they come for, like we do the CDEM meeting and the road, regional land transport meeting at the same time as well, but they don't attend those, but they come to the mayoral forum.
Okay.
And that, so, it's a shared boundary, shared catchment, so it's really good to have them there.
Do you get much out of this?
Out of the mayoral forum. I think the big thing with the mayoral forum is that it's a very strong lobby group when 10 mayors go to Wellington to ask for something. It's the strongest in the country. Quite regularly. Like we went up to Wellington last year, we had what we call speed dating, and that's all the mayors went up to Wellington. We sat in a room like this and the ministers all came to us, and we broached about 10 different subjects with 10 different ministers, everything from migration workers through to roading and everything else, and that sort of thing. I think we've got to just keep sitting in front of them and pushing our view all the time. Quite often we get on, we'll have a government official or a minister quite often comes down to the mayoral forum and that sort of thing. So there is opportunity there. It just needs to be focused on the role of the mayoral forum is the advocacy role about what we can do for our region.
So have you, like, I imagine there'd be stronger voices in there. Do bigger councils get more say than, or are you all pretty much on an even playing
It's all
field?
pretty much on a level playing field. Yeah.
So if you decided that, say, so LGNZ, for example, have been trying to say push for, I know you could look at the audit costs
Yeah.
or the bringing revenue back into our district via GST or RUCs or whatever.
Yeah.
If they're not having much luck with that, as a group, have you been able to get together and say, look, we're going to really push this and we're going to go to government and we're going to say this is what we want? Because you should be the most well listened to group that would go to them, I would have thought.
And we have done that on numerous occasions where like one was when we went to Wellington, we raised all those issues and that sort of thing.
Did you raise the RUC and the
Yeah.
revenue and the audit
Yeah.
and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and you still got nowhere with it?
Realistically, there needs to be a shift in the thinking of central government,
It would seem.
because obviously, LGNZ have been pushing everything you're talking about, the audit fees, the road user charges, and all that sort of stuff for ever since I can remember.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought that if
And
you're
no one-
backing them up as a mayoral forum, who
Yeah, we-
technically should
we
be
don't.
the group
Yeah.
that they listen to,
And
then
we
they're
do.
still not doing anything.
Yeah.
Why even bother?
And all the minutes and everything are available online and that sort of thing, so if you want to get on, there is a mayoral forum website.
Yeah.
And quite often the copies of all that correspondence goes up there.
Right, okay, no, thank you, I
Yeah.
just, it
So,
sounds
yeah,
ridiculous that they
It's a
won't.
hard road,
Yeah,
but we just got to keep chipping away.
And this funding also includes that CE group as well?
So it includes the sub-forums
Yeah, right.
and catering for them. You'll note in the report that Selwyn, which is very convenient, I wouldn't want to travel all the way into Christchurch to attend the meetings, but I'm happy to go to Selwyn. I do find a lot of value in the sub-forums, and I know talking to Tina, she really finds a lot of value in the finance forum. There's the communications forum, there's the policy forum, Dan, which is the operations forum, which is the forum that I chair.
Yeah.
There's great value in those. It's nice to get face-to-face with our counterparts across the councils at the various levels to find out, even if we pose the challenges that we're facing, and find out that the others are the same and have got solutions. And I think for the amount of money we pay, we get a lot of value out of it.
No, that's fine, I don't think that.
And I think the other thing too is this group is going to be absolutely critical as we move forward with the government's proposal around the reorganisation of local government.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not just regional councils, it's a complete reorganisation of local government.
I didn't realise, Craig, and it's good to know that it's not just the two of you who are involved, it's all your managers.
Yeah, because I know Shay goes up for the policy one quite regularly, and I think he gets more on Teams. A lot of it's done on Teams for the policy, for some of the lower forums and that sort of thing.
So this is not the time to be.
It's not the time to be messing around with it. No, if anything, now's the time to be reinforcing it and making sure that it's really strong, because these groups are going to shape the future of local government in the Canterbury area.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Totally.
And that's 63,000 across, it's $400 a week basically to be part of this thing.
Yeah, it's 63 for 3 years.
Yeah. It's pretty good value for money.
Yeah, it really is.
Because it includes the cost of the secretarial support, catering. Well, it's all included.
Just to have access to that structured network and shared resources and shared, the ability to bounce ideas and talk about the issues that we're facing as a region.
I think it's important to note, though, that the decisions made at the mayoral forum are not binding on the individual member councils. Those more sort of medium to high level decisions that need to be made need to come back to this table. And I think we could probably, over the next year or two, we might have to do a bit more of that, and I'll certainly do a bit more in my reporting from the Chief Executive's Forum. But it's important that every member council does that the same, and make sure it's not just the mayor that's having these conversations, that the information filters back to their full council.
It also said in something I was reading, I can't find it, but it said about liaising with part of what you have to do is liaise with members of the community, and you've got one there where you've liaising with the room owners or whatever, but then below that there was another one, engaging with people in the community and stuff. Does that happen very often?
Yeah, well, it does, because quite often you get presentations or people who have come along to the mayoral forum, the likes of, we had the young lady that came along in relation to seatbelts on buses for school kids and that sort of thing. There was a presentation on widen, slow and wide, the horse.
Oh, the past wide and slow.
That's that one, and that sort of thing. So there is an opportunity for people to come along, and we hear from the likes of Christchurch Airport, from Canterbury NZ, from the universities, about what's happening in the universities.
So are they usually invited, or do they?
Well, they're invited, or they can say we'd like to come along, and they get dorried in to come along, and that sort of thing. So there is some quite interesting discussions that take place and information that's shared. But ultimately, they're normally looking for support from the mayoral forum to further an issue or that sort of thing. So, it's good. All right, so there's 2 recommendations on page 60. Have somebody move the recommendations? Move Councillor Begg. Seconded Councillor Stevens. Put the motion. All in favour say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Thank you for that. Moving on to 16.4 on page 68. This is the consideration of allocation of Southern Canterbury AMP Association. Probably if you just sit at the back of the room, Paul, you're fine.
Thank you very much, Mayor Craig and councillors and officers of council. I'll take the paper as read though, I just wanted to point out a couple of items for you.
Sorry, just before you start, Nicole, can I just note that Paul has, Councillor, just left the room. Councillor Harrison. Sorry, thanks for that. Sorry, Nicole.
You're welcome. In the background, I've tried to inform you there of some of the important sections of various policies of which this application refers to, and having read the application, the request is consistent both with the district plan and council policy criteria for the use of the subdivision recreation reserve contributions fund. It is an application for a grant of $40,000 inclusive of GST from the reserve contributions fund, and it is towards an upgrade of part of their electrics for the Shears Pavilion. You have options there in regards to the grant of the full amount or a smaller amount, or decline the application. And I have outlined the previous grants that have been received by the group, and that is actually noted as part of the financial section 18. So I will stop there, hand over, and if there are questions in the discussion.
Thanks, Nicole. Any questions for Nicole? Jackie?
More just, have they provided any data on the use of their facility, like how many people use that pavilion? Because my understanding, it would have to be one of the busiest community facilities. Like, there's always stuff on there. So I think it's just something important to factor into our decision making, is that it is a really widely used base for many things. And that's kind of our plan B for civil defence if the event centre becomes unavailable, is it?
Through you, there's probably plan C.
Plan C, yeah.
But it's potentially.
I know it's a factor, isn't it?
Well, the fact I've spoken to Dylan about this. In any disaster that we foresee, we can probably cope. But if it's the 88,
yeah,
that's going to be different, and we'll need all the facilities we can get. The one thing that the A&P showgrounds does have as a shelter, it's actually a shelter that people can take animals to.
Yes. Yeah, it's got pens,
Yep.
and just really good showers and all of those facilities as well that a lot of our other spaces don't have. And I think the other thing for me that stood out is really great to have that breakdown of grants, is that the dog and agility park component of it was kind of council driven, community driven, but via council. So whilst they are hosting it and it went via them, it wasn't really them requesting that, it was us saying, can we please use the space more so. I'm personally very much in favour of this. I think this is an essential facility for our community.
Thanks for that, Jackie.
Yeah.
Lisa?
Yeah, I agree. What you brought up points that I was going to raise as well. I just wondered, did we actually give them two lots of $2,000 in 25 and 25?
Yes, they were two separate.
That was two
amounts.
separate.
I'll check that because
Yeah, I looked at that.
the repetition, so yes, they were two separate amounts.
Oh, look, I think it's a great facility. If you look at what we have given them, actually isn't a lot of money if you take off the dog part side of it over the years. It's well used. I'm happy to support the full amount, kind of what I say. And as you say, it's got that capability for civil defence purposes, animals, whatever.
Any other comments? Sandy?
I was just going to second Lisa's.
Rick?
I just wanted to say, just ask a quick question. So, with this, it's really good. I'm supporting it as well because it's a good way for them to raise the rest of the money. It's always good to have a seat. Is there going to be any hooks that we put in, like we've done in the past, that make it more difficult for them to receive this money now? Okay, that's all. I just want to make sure we weren't doing that.
Yeah.
I think through you, Mr. Mayor, we just want evidence of expenditure.
Yes.
Because it is public money.
Accountability.
Yeah, accountability, but
That's about it.
we're not saying we'll give you this 40,000 if you
Once
raise the
you've
rest
raised,
for the. Okay, that's.
And if I may through the chair, they have tabled two quotes, and quotes quite detailed, quotes quotes in regards to the work that they're looking to have done. I haven't got them here for the integrity of the procurement exercise, but they have actually tabled why, the reason why 30,000 is what they're asking for.
That's good. Yeah, it fully supported of it. It's, you know, as everybody said, it's a great facility. It's used, it keeps. I don't know whether they keep data or not, Jackie, of
Yeah,
numbers and things like that.
just wondered because boy, they have some big events there.
We didn't receive
that.
It would be good to get that data.
I would just be really interested to see the numbers because the horse world alone, you know, it's now become the main hub for South Canterbury, North Otago, the horses across the board, but it's also all the other events that they have there.
Yeah, they have heaps.
Yeah, it's an amazing.
Mr. Mayor, I could get Nicole to contact Rito and see if we can't discover some of that information.
Yes.
Some of it they may want to disclose, some of it they may keep commercial confidence, but we could probably get that.
Yeah, I just.
The other thing I mentioned in discussion with a couple of the committee members and Rito, they are having a lot of success in holding great events there, but they're coming at a bit of risk to the committee because of the wiring and the power and the switchboard and the, you know, they're just dead scared one night they're going to have a large event and everything's going to go dark on them. But that's about all I can share with you. Cool.
And then the only other thing I will say is that we just also need to be aware that I think we've got quite a few areas where this can be expanded in the future too. You know, we've got a theatre that needs some serious work and a museum that needs some serious work and that sort of thing. So we're going to be mindful of everybody else in the community as well. And that sort of thing.
Oh, it's nice to just be fixing up existing buildings too, you know, like looking after what we've got in the community.
Well,
and going
been our philosophy, hasn't it, is look after what you've got.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a recommendation 1 and 2 on page 70. I'll move Councillor Begg, seconded Councillor Hall. Put the motion, all in favour say aye. Against, carried. Thank you for that, Nicole.
Thank you very much, councillors.
You can come back up the table, Paul.
It's not me taking school.
And moving on to 16.5 on page 76, which is additional one event called Higher Youth Charge. I'll hand it back over.
Thank you very much, Mayor Craig and councillors. Some of you would have been aware from just general conversations about the youth audit that we had done recently at the event centre, and that actually came about through Sports at Canterbury in a conversation with Sean Campbell, and we were wanting to look at initiatives to bring the youth or more youth into the centre off-peak hours. So the youth-friendly spaces audit report was actually led, and Petra Jellerman was actually, and has done this, and is a youth herself, has done this in other councils, Kaikoura in particular, and so came down particularly for this, and it was led with a group of others and South Canterbury Sports. I think the outcome of the information, and we've just actually met again just last week to close this out with some of the youth that were involved in this, and this has resulted in your paper today. Background to this is we are struggling with the cost. People are struggling, and we find even during some of the sports, the holiday programs that we do, that there is a choice of which ones that some of the children attend, and some of the commentary from Di, she's asked them, we didn't see you at climbing, or we didn't see you, or Mum couldn't afford to send me to all of them, so I've chosen this one to come along to today. I've always had a philosophy about barrier to sports and things, and that's part of my sort of leadership that I've brought and I bring to you to think about, and I know that you're very, very community orientated, so I wanted this to give you the direct feedback from your community and from the youth in regards to some of the issues they have. Everything in here is semantical, we're working with this, a lot of things are, but a $5 one, and that charge will enable some of our youth to come and train more often. Some of them are getting in a car as a group and they're driving away from here to train because of the $9 a head. It is becoming a little bit of a barrier to them. So I'm here before you on their behalf actually to ask for the addition of this $5 for youth, and that is school age youth, and maybe we could actually drive some more use by the schools during the weekdays with this charge, as well as some after hours. This is not evenings when we've got all of our other bookings. This is really trying to target times when we don't have any other bookings, and then there's an opportunity for them to come in. They can't book a space for $5 in some of our busy evenings. We're really making sure that we're targeting some of the times on this. So I leave it at that.
Just a couple of quick questions for me is, so staff are already present on site?
Yes.
So there's no additional staffing costs and things like that?
No, not at all.
Okay. Second question for me is, why $5, not $2?
Well, the actual youth chose this. They would prefer $2. They would absolutely prefer nothing. So we can't go to nothing.
Yeah.
They would like a $2, and that is an option for you to look at, because we are trialling a $2 session for youth on a Thursday, particularly 3 until 5, and then we are looking at that 65 plus target for $2 on a Tuesday morning between 10 and 12, and that is again to get people in. It's about motion.
And how's that been going?
Well, we haven't, the child one we're hoping that this Thursday we're going to see an increase, or a steady increase in some of the numbers, and some of you were there when people were playing soccer for our $2 session that we just had on Thursday. Again, we were just thinking children just finished school, but I think this next week and then after the school holiday program, as we settle in, I think those numbers are going to increase. People are talking about it. And
Just the reason I ask is that, like, I'm a great believer in let's fill it up and that sort of thing. And like, how many youths are we going to get there initially each week? Are we going to get 20? So realistically, the difference between $5 and $2 over 20 for a week is negligible. And obviously our staff are already there, so it's not as though we're having to employ additional staff. There's always costs with this stuff. The more you use it, the faster you wear it out, that sort of thing. But I'd rather see it, really accessible to the kids. Free, I'd look, yes, I'd love to go to free, but I think $2 is the next best thing. And that sort of thing. And that was just my thinking. I'm happy to check the rest of the table and see what people think.
Just with $2, so would you reach saturation? Would you? Is that likely?
No, I doubt it. We've talked about this as a centre staff, that if we would start, and because we are looking at targeted times, we could actually turn, and it is per hour. So it is a turnover per hour, that if we started to get a lot of youth turning up, then we've got 2 courts, then we could start to look at a hoop each, or soccer on one side, hoops on the other, and it's about managing when they come along, because we can't always say yes, because there might be a booking when people turn up and say, can I come and play some hoops, which is what we get during the day. There's a young lady who's one of your very good basketball players in there with her parents this morning, little wee baby, and she's there with dad, and she is practicing shooting hoops. They bring Jacob, who is the lead for basketball for the Canterbury region, and he's coming down regularly on a Wednesday at the moment and playing with 3 of them in targeted training sessions, and they're paying $9, and they can't always do that. So this is where you are losing. We've got people in school and the school teachers who are telling us parents can't afford to be sending them to play during school hours. So I leave that with you as that thought, that I wouldn't like to think that your costs, though we would love to increase them, your fees and charges are about some return, but when you reach a point where your costs become a barrier to participation, you've got a building that's sitting there empty. At certain times, not all the time, very, very busy in the evenings, but this is just a way to maybe remove some of those barriers, bring some of the people that couldn't even afford $5 or $9 if you choose to go to $2. You will see some good community support, I feel, for this.
I think the short answer is no. No, there's heaps of capacity. I don't see I don't think you're going to see an influx of hundreds of children.
I guess if you did, you've always got the option of raising it if you went for the
Well,
two.
that's right, and the other thing too is
We're gonna be
ultimately,
making more money than it currently is, so.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So it's, I mean,
ultimately, it's not being used at the moment, so anything that's going to be a bonus. And the other thing too is that that's why we have the staff down here to manage those numbers, that if there is too many, this is per hour, so they can say, well, no, you can't come at 10, but you can come at 11 or whatever.
And you get the opportunity to review this every year then, if it forms part of your fees and charges going forward, you get that opportunity to review it as well. And it could creep up then to your 3. As I said, the youth agreed on 5, they didn't want to be too cheeky, they were very cognizant, and that's why I leave that with you.
Sorry, what would be the upper age limit for youth? Bearing in mind that some places are 25, where the direction to MSD now with benefits is 20. So what would be the
So we've targeted this at school age. So anybody that's sort of
Still at
around
school.
has to be at school. Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Chair, Carl, has there been anything done? I mean, I'm assuming that these kids are thinking that it's $5, and that's not being cheeky by asking. I think $5 is fair. It's probably not their money.
No, it's mum and dad's.
Has anyone spoken to the
Mum and dad?
Parents?
dads about it?
We haven't, because what we wanted to do for this particular report was hear from the students themselves, and it wasn't just around the cost, it was around, did they feel comfortable coming to the centre, were there ways to make it safer for them? They are talking about an outside hoop and lots of other things, so that the report was a little bit wider than just the cost. But the cost was coming to us by children, the parents, and I have spoken to several parents that do come in during some of the really busy times, and in particular they talk to Di and Pete a lot, and that feedback has come from parents through them. So not directly, but it has come from them through to our staff.
That $5 could be the sweet spot.
The youth have actually tabled the $5. The $2 sessions have come from an initiative that I approached the CE for a discussion. But the youth have come up with 5 because they didn't want to be cheeky, but certainly they would be very open, I think, if you were to look at a lesser amount.
Is there a feeling that if you, well, I'm assuming if you get 45 kids there as opposed to 10 now, it's cost negative?
Absolutely.
It's just, can you feel, there's a feeling that you can fill that gap?
I think this is an opportunity for the community to fill that gap. He is the olive branch to the community and to the youth and to parents to say, we want your children to come and be involved in sports, whether that's soccer or basketball or all the other things, badminton, the things that we do there. And on a casual basis, during these quiet times, you take your chance, you ring up or you turn up. And if it doesn't work and people don't support it, then you can go back to some of your pricing. But I think it is an opportunity to
The only thing I would be mindful of, and that's obviously for you to manage, is some people will take advantage of it as a babysitting service.
Yeah, and we have noted that under 14, please be accompanied by a responsible person.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's just, and I'm sure you're aware of it.
Yes.
And listen, that was a great report.
It was
That
really.
survey was really interesting.
Yeah.
And they raised some, and I know the outdoor court and the astroturf turf pitch has been raised before and that sort of thing, and could be something that we look at in the future.
Yeah. And this was a group, apologies through the chair, of 8, I think it was approximately 8, 9 mixed grade area youth from the high school that came along to do this, and we did speak to a couple of parents really that are younger, but there were 2 different age ranges through the school, and it was led by a youth, and they spent 2.5 hours, nearly 3 hours at the centre going through this and check sheets and audit. They went around with clipboards and it was very, very thorough in what they did and how they went about it. Yeah.
It was interesting, some of the points out of that, just digressing from the actual issue, but some of the points from that work are actually can be implemented relatively cheaply, whether it be some bean bags for a comfortable area or a vending machine if you want to go down that path, or the Hall of Fame, that would be so inspiring for our youth to come in and see Waimate locals who have achieved really great things up on the wall, in certain areas, and then, the murals, things like that. It's the cheap fixes,
Yeah.
some of them, just to take on board some of what they've said.
And
I think there's a lot we can take out of that.
Yeah,
Before,
totally.
that we can implement, as you said, for relatively very little money.
Yeah.
And I said, hopefully the big badge chuck there is.
Yeah, a table, just a designated table area that you sit to eat food, so that it's not being traipsed through just little tiny things that might make a difference.
And if I may, and though it's not part of this paper through the chair of councils, then I will explore some of these recommendations and come back to you on that.
Yeah, it could be a possible fundraiser for the schools, opening up the canteen.
Yep,
That's
And
right,
using that
yeah.
area, I mean, food couldn't go out to the courts, I know that's a big no-no, but it'd be a good opportunity there, I think, for someone to lead that and run that rather than us doing it. And
Exactly.
And that's it, there's community-led ideas and all of that could come out of that, if people wanted to pick them up and run with it.
I think the key that I was, and I do want to publicly thank those that contributed to this from the school, was their real feel for their community. They thought past themselves, and not just about themselves. There are some areas here that, yes, they did, but they really did think about the wider youth of the district and the community in what they were doing with this as well, which was commendable to them.
Thanks for that. Councillor Guilford and then Councillor Beck.
Want to back up a lot of what everyone said. The report is excellent. I really enjoyed this, and probably because I spent a couple of years based at the event centre, this is something I'm really passionate about. I want to see this full. I want to see our community being able to engage in the space, and I think this is an absolutely excellent approach. 100% back Craig, $2 sessions, make it accessible, make it affordable. I just want to see the space used and see kids out there and getting active. And I love some of their ideas, and even touching on things like the lighting at night down that end of the path. I'm like, yes, they're so right. Like, that is actually what it's like. So really great job, and I think it's really exciting to see the youth in our community get to have a voice in this way and engage in a process like that. So well done. So yeah, I would support Craig dropping it to 2.
John.
I think that our event centre is great. I also see that's not being used to full capacity, so I'm really excited about the Steve audit. I'm excited about your recommendation and bringing the cost down, but I'm even more excited about Craig's proposal that we bring it down to 2. So the thing is, to me, let's get used. It's a great building. That's and as part of Waimate is known as a community town, so we need to kind of keep that stay going. And I think the charge bringing down, and also putting the Hall of Fame pictures. We've been talking about that for last term. Let's get those pictures up of the sporting heroes. So I think it's a great thing, and I'll be happy to move your amendment, Craig.
And the only thing I put in there is, can we put it in as a trial until the next fees and charges review?
Yes.
And that, so that we can have, if we put it down as a trial period,
Yes.
and that for until the next fees and charges review, that way we can have a look at it and get feedback on, has it worked, is it costing us money, that sort of thing, so we can get a better understanding. And at that stage, we can look at resetting that charge at that time.
So thank you very much through the chair. What I will do then, so you will be reviewing your fees and charges as part of your annual plan process. They will come before you in June. I won't adjust, because we've just been doing some work with Tia and the finance team to look at our fees and charges. So I will put that in there. We've got $5 at the moment, and if you adopt the $2, I will change it to $2, and I'll make a note there that it is a trial and that you can review at that time, and I can talk to it in June.
It's just be good to make sure that we keep some data or that sort of thing, so we just look at it and see if it is working and that sort of thing.
And we do keep those numbers of people coming in, school programs, one-offs, etc. So data captures.
So through the chair, this will take effect pretty much immediately.
Or FES.
Yeah, it can do.
So we'll know by the end of March how we're tracking.
Yes, yeah, that's the idea, yeah.
Probably along that 6 months.
So in regards to the amendment to the recommendation, the $2, then would you be comfortable to also add in that it takes immediate effect?
Yeah. Sorry, was it? Go for it.
That you also added to the recommendation, it takes immediate effect?
Oh, yeah. Stuart, anything you want to add? Any questions? Queries?
Fees and charges should really be consulted. I know there's some discretion for the CE, but not much. And if you are voting on this, you're sort of making it permanent. There's a permanent adjustment to the fees and charges schedule.
That's why I put it in
but-
as a trial.
Right,
Yeah, but I'm thinking we're in annual plan phase now, aren't we?
yes, we are, yes.
So
This is going to create issues.
what do you think, Tina?
So if council resolves this, then it is an amendment to the fees and charges, effective immediately as per the recommendation. And then the next opportunity would only be by way of a council resolution to change it. And your plan doesn't require consultation on these matters as such. However, as a council, they may choose to.
Right. Okay.
But as Nicole says, you would be adopting them 30 June, but you would have an opportunity to review them a few months prior to that.
Yeah, and that's why I just thought of it, if we put it down as a trial and that sort of thing, that way, when we come to look at the fees and charges, then if it needs a permanent change, we can make it then when we go out with our consultation, and hopefully we'll have some data and some reasoning behind it.
And given that it's a drop, it would be more of a, we should be promoting it rather than consulting on it.
Yeah.
It's just the act.
Yeah. Just got to make sure that we're not breaching the act.
Right, let's do it.
Okay, so the recommendation is that the report's accepted and the council approves the introduction of a new price band.
Trial price band.
Trial price point.
One events of $2 per head on a trial basis, effective immediately. For the hire for children and youth from Monday to Friday between the hours of 9 and 5. No, we've already got effective immediately at the end of it. That.
And youth's 18, that's where, that's the
School age.
Yeah.
School.
Well, you have a 20-year-old at school.
Right, I know, that's what I'm saying, you need to kind of.
And listen, there'll be fish hooks in it, like everything, and we'll work through it
Yes.
as we start to get some bit of data and that sort of thing. And we can, it's not a long time till we review the fees and charges in March, so it gives us a bit of, sort of a 3-month period to get a feel of how this is working. So I'm happy to move that. John's happy to second it. I'll put the motion, all in favour say aye. Against, carried. Thank you for that.
Chair, thank you very, very much. Councillors, those that have been involved will spread this word and they will be extraordinarily appreciative of your decision tonight.
So the only other thing I'd say is that we'll have that survey electronically.
Yes.
It'll be quite interesting even if we put that up on our Facebook page just with a link. Because I think it's really information that people may be interested in.
The report?
Yeah.
The one that we've got.
You have that?
Yeah,
Yes, it is part
the
of
survey,
the
whatever it's called, the
Yeah.
audit.
Yes, so
You-
it is,
you-
it's publicly
you thought it
available
was
as part
called?
of these papers, but we can actually, and I can talk with Michelle to push that out on.
Yeah, I just think so there was some really good information that people may be interested.
After you get past the executive summary, that they don't want to paint a favorable picture.
Yeah, that's just trying to work it out, isn't it?
All right, thanks everybody. We'll keep moving. So there's no major